the city clerk at dalycity.org and include public comment in the subject line. All written comments received by 4 p.m. on meeting day will be provided to the city council prior to the meeting. Please note any emailed comments received after 4 p.m. on the meeting date are not guaranteed to be received by the city council prior to the meeting. Comments are not read aloud in the record. 2, during the meeting, you may visit www.dalycity.org/agendas to submit comments during the public comment form to address the city council on a specific item. Thank you. Or during the public comment period. Such comments are delivered to the city council and city staff during the meeting and may be read into the record at any time they are received. To speak at the meeting in person, please complete a speaker card located at the entrance to the council chamber and submit it to staff members as early in the meeting as possible. Persons with disabilities who require auxiliary aids or services in attending or participating in this meeting should call the office of the city clerk, 650-991-8078, as soon as possible. And now maybe I'll stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Madam City Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Ms. Di Giovanni,
Present.
Dr. Rod,
Present.
Mr. Buenaventura,
Present.
Mr. Sylvester,
Len Sylvester, present.
Manalo.
Present. May I have approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of November 27, 2023?
Move to approve.
I have a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Now let's move on to public appearances and oral communications.
Approve the agenda.
Let's see. Oh, prior to that, may we have approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
I have a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, thank you very much. Now on to public appearances and oral communications. Let's see. These are all on items number 1. Let's see, I think we have Vilras Saxena. Yes, ma'am. Please come up.
Thank you. Good evening. Actually, miss, I'm opening the retail store and grocery store. For this, including the spirits in it. And for this, we require the PCN, so we requested for this. And I'm opening the retail store and the grocery store for the local, Mission Street to thrive. And I request for the PCN to grant me.
Madam Mayor, I believe that's for item number 6.
Oh, it's item number 6? Oh, organization represented, it said 1. Okay, so that's actually later in the agenda. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So I don't think there's any public comment, regular public comment at this time. They're all tied to an agenda. So now we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Sorry about that, sir. You'll be right back up shortly.
Move to approve the consent.
Okay, I have a first. Do I have a second to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Now moving on to item number 4. Oh, actually, I take that back. So it's actually item number 3 is on the consent agenda. So actually need to repeal that.
You want to pull?
Yeah. Can we have a friendly amendment, council member? In
Yes.
regards to the consent
With the
agenda?
exception of item number 3.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. I'd like to bring up Brian Shields from Carpenters 217. Please come up.
Hello, good evening. Brian Shields, Carpenters Local 217. Thank you. Congratulations on becoming the mayor, vice mayor, and council. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. This development presents a gigantic opportunity for the city of Daly City and the constituents and residents here of Daly City and of greater San Mateo County, really. The fact is that this can either be a shining light of the ability to provide good jobs, right, to fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers, or it could be another highway to extortion, right, what we find on non-union projects. And I don't really want to take the time to go into that. I've talked about it before. What I think is extremely necessary on projects this large, and what the housing element, which you all helped with, is to have some kind of labor standards adherent to it. Labor standards like apprenticeship, healthcare, prevailing wage. This can be executed through a letter of intent, and or it can be executed just in pre-qualification letter language for the contractor. This is, I mean, an extraordinarily important opportunity for Daly City. And I'd like to also point out the fact that Jefferson Union High School District trustees and superintendent have continued to talk to us, and we do not want to be pitted against their ability to raise wages for their teachers, right? And our ability to provide good paying jobs to the people who actually build the buildings that we work, live, stay in. So it is a thread that we are trying to walk, and I think that we can come to a resolution with enough education and enough conversations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll have Nels DeLander for the Carpenters Local 217. Thank you.
Hello, Hello, council members. My name is Nels DeLander. I'm a representative of the NorCal Carpenters Union. The redevelopment of Serramonte Delray campus is a project that can change the lives of so many people that live in the area. But how about the construction workers building it? It's important to have a letter of intent on this project or a pre-qualification labor standards. Having an LOI is necessary to make sure the project is being done by a responsible contractor. These general contractors pay prevailing wage, healthcare, and apprenticeships. Pre-qualification labor standards also is prevailing wage, healthcare for workers and their families, and apprenticeships that invest in our community. So many times we're seeing general contractors that refuse to work with us, mistreat their workers in so many ways. Examples of these mistreatments include wage theft, tax fraud, and even human trafficking, just so they can bid low enough to win the projects. We go out at non-union projects and find workers are too scared to even talk to us about how they're being treated. Last thing we want is the project to become a crime scene. I am here to asking to you to make sure the workers will be protected and not exploited. Many times developers use discrimination on wages as a delta to pad their profits. Please have Jefferson Union High School District consider a letter of intent with the Carpenters of Local 217. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I see no other cards for item number 3 at this time. I do want to say that this is setting time and place for the public hearing to consider the general plan amendment GPA 0421-14998, a plan development. I do want to say thank you for those that provided public comment. I think that there is an opportunity. I do see representatives in JUHSD here, Superintendent Presta, and then our Jefferson High School board members, Kalima, and also Andy Lee. I think we're in the room and y'all are in the room together. And so, but this is just a setting time and place for it, and the setting time and place would be January 22nd, 2024. And I hope that hopefully in between that time frame, you are all in the room together today. And so to me, I look at this as positivity. We're just approving time and place. But I have hope. You all said it, this is an opportunity. And I hope this opportunity lends communication and being able to work with one another. And you're all in the room today. So, but with that, are there any other comments? Yes, please, council member.
Yes. So I wanted to say that, I watch all the planning commission meetings. In fact, I watch all the commission meetings in general, but the planning commission meeting I watched and I saw the presentation that was done. I thought there were a lot of really good questions that were asked in that planning commission meeting. And quite frankly, Kalima, I think you killed it. I mean, you were on point with every answer, every question. You were composed, you were deliberate, and you answered the question. And so I don't know how you can do it much better than what you did, but I look forward to your next presentation. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Sylvester. At this time, I'll open up to my other colleagues if they have any comments on this. Seeing none? Oh,
Yeah,
Councilmember
I just want
Tishibana.
to say, I look forward to the January the 22nd, 24. And we all know that they're very communicative with the public. And that before the meeting, that they said they would be speaking with one another anyway. And I know that how all of us here in Daly City support our local hire. And an LOI would be pretty viable. January 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see no other questions. Well, I think this is such a huge development in our community. And I know there's been a long time, a lot of work being put into it and more work to be done. And so with that, I move to approve item number 3. Do I have a second?
Okay.
Okay, I have a second, and then at this point, may we have actually, because I pulled it, roll call, please.
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Mr. Buenaventura,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Now moving on to our public hearings. Public hearings on community development and housing needs, something very important in our community. Ms. Linnell Salikin? Hello.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. So as you know, the city receives Community Development Block Grant and Home Funds annually from HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. CDBG funds may be used for program administration, housing, public services, capital improvements, and economic development. And home funds may be used for affordable housing development. We don't know yet how much we will be getting in FY 24-25. For reference, in FY 23-24, the city received $977,893 in CDBG and $354,725 in home funds. As a requirement to receiving these funds, the city prepares a 5-year consolidated plan that identifies housing and community development needs and the goals for addressing those needs. The consolidated plan goals are briefly summarized in the staff report, and FY 24-25 would be the second year of our 5-year consolidated plan. So within each year of the 5-year plan period, the city prepares an annual plan that allocates how the CDBG and home funds will be spent. So tonight is the first step in beginning the process for FY 24-25, which I mentioned earlier is the second year of the con plan period. But it's also the second year of a 2-year CDBG funding cycle. It being the second year of a 2-year funding cycle, we do not issue an RFP/NOFA. So programs and activities that are currently receiving CDBG funds this program year, and I provided it as attachment A to the staff report, may have their contracts renewed for FY 24-25, pending the availability of these funds and satisfactory progress towards their current year goals. So our community participation process for the action plan consists of 2 public hearings. The first one is tonight and another in April. So the purpose of tonight's hearing is to provide the public an opportunity to inform the council of housing and community development needs in our city. And then the hearing in April is to receive comments on the draft 24-25 action plan, which will include a proposed allocation for 24-25 funds. So notice of this hearing was published in the Examiner and was made available on the city's website, as well as emailed to various social service organizations, and staff is available to provide additional information.
Thank you so much for your presentation. At this point, I believe that unless there's any comments from my colleagues, I will move to open the hearing. Seeing none, is there a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
First, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, we need a roll call, please, right? Or voice vote? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Let's open, are there any? I see no speaker cards on item number 4. So no speaker cards on item number 4. I have a motion to close the hearing. So move, could I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Moved by Councilmember Benavides, second by Vice Mayor Dasmagwal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. So at this point, is there any questions from my colleagues?
Yes, Mayor, please.
Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Guy, thank you. I just have a quick question. So I see the list here. Is any of them included where it says public services maybe, or for legal aid, the Legal Aid Society?
So we did not fund legal aid in FY 23-24. They did not submit an application. I believe part of it is we funded them through the COVID, another source of funding other than CDBG, and that might be part of the reason why they didn't apply.
Okay, because I know that there was, that someone called me and said they needed money. Is it too late then, Linnell?
We may have funds available. Again, we don't know
Okay,
how much we'll be getting. They could give us a call, and the allocation part happens at the next, when we come back from break.
sure.
And we would present to the council and the CDBG committee. So the allocation decisions can be made then.
Okay, never hurts to ask. So thank you very much for both of you. Thank you for all the hard work. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions from my colleagues? Thank you very much. Well, looking at the allocation and given that there's no need to release another RFP on this, looking at the services that are being provided, around housing, economic development, supporting our small businesses, our housing rehab program, housing such as Life Moves and Family Crossroads that helps those are in need of housing, and Peninsula Family Services. I mean, this is definitely, I think, something that we've looked at in the past. And so with that, I move to approve this item. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. May we have a roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Mr. Buenaventura,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank
you
you.
for all your hard work.
Thank you.
And now we are at communications. we are item number 5. Authorize city manager to execute an agreement with Magical Bridge Foundation for a Magical Bridge playground at Hillside Park.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Before you tonight is a proposed agreement with Magical Bridge Foundation for a Magical Bridge playground at Hillside Park. Magical Bridge Foundation advocates for and creates inclusive and innovative playgrounds in communities. The world-renowned concept is designed to be socially inclusive for children and adults of varying physical and cognitive abilities. Magical Bridge is not a special needs playground, but a welcoming place for all. The City of Daly City has been interested in creating a Magical Bridge playground for over a year. With recent funding support from Assemblymember Phil Ting, there is now an opportunity to bring a Magical Bridge playground to Daly City. Magical Bridge Playground will be a place for children, adults, and families, regardless of ability, to play together in an inclusive environment thus strengthening community relationships. I will now turn it over to Olenka Villarreal, the founder and CEO of Magical Bridge Foundation, to provide more information about the playground features.
Good evening, Magical Mayor and council members. It's such an honor to be here with you all today, and thank you, Leilani. We actually do have a short video which we believe captures the magic about what makes our playgrounds and playgrounds and programming so special. We really do get very excited about providing places for the whole community, including the many people that are continuing to be left off of design of vital places like playgrounds, the first outdoor classroom for many of our families. So perhaps what we'll do is we'll take a short 5-minute reprieve from my talking, and then I will be available to answer questions. But it would be a huge privilege and a pleasure to bring Magical Bridge into this community.
So they get puppies?
Cute though.
Today, 1 in 4 people in the United States are living with a disability. An estimated 10% of disabilities are visible, such as using a wheelchair, while 90% of these disabilities are invisible, such as autism and some developmental, cognitive, and sensory disabilities. Playgrounds are at the heart of the community and offer profound social, developmental, and cognitive benefits. And while most playgrounds are deemed legally accessible, most do not consider the needs of everyone in the community. Typical playgrounds often have sand or tan bark, hard-to-reach platforms and equipment, and restrictive pathways with little to no opportunity to move, swing, slide, or spin. Magical Bridge Foundation designs playgrounds for all ages and abilities because everyone deserves a place to play, explore, move, and connect. At Magical Bridge Playgrounds, children, adults, and seniors can all play together. It's a place where inclusive means everyone. Since 2016, Magical Bridge has innovated multi-generational playgrounds, parks, and programs for more inclusive communities. Magical Bridge currently has 7 playgrounds open to the public in the Bay Area, including 4 destination playgrounds in Palo Alto, Redwood City, Sunnyvale, and Morgan Hill. After opening 2 playgrounds at Palo Alto schools, we are passionate to bring much-needed inclusive play and movement to more schools. Many more are on the way, including playgrounds in Santa Clara and Mountain View. Our first international playground will open this December in New Zealand, with 2 more in development in Singapore. We're thrilled that our list of playgrounds and partners is growing, which means that more people can play together. The foundation of Magical Bridge playgrounds are the play zones, which offers greater predictability for visitors. Each zone is dedicated to a play experience, such as spinning, sliding, and swinging. Our Musical Innovation Zone enables visitors to create beautiful orchestra music with a 24-string laser harp. Our playhouse and community stages are designed by Bay Area local artist builder Barbara Butler. These thoughtfully crafted spaces are ideal for imaginative play, relaxation, and community connections. The Kindness Corner, a hallmark of Magical Bridge, reminds visitors of all ages and abilities that they are welcomed and celebrated. Our beloved kindness ambassadors are the heart and soul of Magical Bridge playgrounds and programs. These community volunteers, adults and teens of all abilities, host and organize events and activities, and most importantly, play with visitors and spread kindness on and off the playground. We welcome local artists, musicians, storytellers, and magicians to perform on the community stage throughout the year. The Palo Alto Playground comes alive each Friday night during our summer concert series, and the local library hosts storytime hours in Redwood City and Sunnyvale. In Morgan Hill, Magical Bridge Playground is the centerpiece for seasonal and holiday events. There is always something to do at Magical Bridge. Magical Bridge especially enjoys spreading our mission of inclusion with students of all ages. We offer kindness kits for download and invite students from local schools to tour the playground and learn about the design principles behind inclusive play. It's never too early to spread kindness, and each day we strive to make our magical community a little bit bigger. We are thrilled to receive this year's Community Resource Award from the San Andreas Regional Center. We thank you for this important recognition and are honored to be a part of this community. From all of us at Magical Bridge, thank you for celebrating kindness and inclusive play. We hope to see you on the playground.
Attention. If you have questions or comments. Thank you so much for that amazing video. It just highlights, so much of what Magical Bridge Foundation does, but I will say it's pretty amazing to see in person. And so at this point, I will open up if there's any questions from my colleagues. But I do want to say before I turn it over, having you here today is a pivotal moment. I want to just share for others in the audience, when I got a text from this one, it was a family that would go all the way up to Palo Alto. They would go all the way to Redwood City. A Daly City resident reached out and said, can we have this in Daly City? Because they would have to drive all the way down over there. That had sparked that interest in Magical Bridge, and reached out to staff. At that very same time, I know that there were funding opportunities from Assemblymember Phil Ting, who always reaches out to us to see what those needs are. And so this is so wonderful to have you here today. I know that staff had reached out to you at at my direction to see what the feasibility and possibilities are. And so for my first council meeting as mayor, this is exhilarating because accessibility to all is so important. And it's one resident that reached out, but there's so many more residents and individuals around the area that will be able to utilize this space that is really crafted to make sure that you don't do the bare minimum, as you've mentioned to me, around what are the ADA standards, right? But how do you make sure it's actually broader than that? And so this is just wonderful to see. And I'm extremely excited to see this on the agenda this evening. And with that, I open it up to the floor. Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much. Actually, it's a great-looking film presentation. Which I felt was a little lacking is the diversity of the children. And to see more diversity, I think would have really drove the point home for me. What I especially like, and when they say it's young and old, to see the gentleman in the wheelchair being a part, because, you know, as seniors get older, they want to be near the kids playing, and that gives them an opportunity. So, you know, that's just a couple of observations I saw. Now, I noticed a whole bunch of structures there. How does Magical Bridge work with the trades, our unions, in building some of those, especially, you know, if they receive the plans, we need this particular structure built. How do they work with unions, or if they work with unions at all?
Thank you, Councilmember Sylvester. First of all, the question about the diversity, I'm curious, was it ethnic diversity or a diversity in abilities that caught your eye?
Well, I do get disabilities. Folks with autism has to be ethnicity to me. That's I didn't see much until the end, where I noticed.
Well,
a
you
few
never
Asian-
know what's going on inside someone. I mean, we do honor people, of course, with autism as now 1 in 34. So our video was produced by a wonderful young woman that just graduated from college, and she put it together for us. And these are just real guests that we have on the playground, and they gave us the okay. And so every fourth person around all of us has a visible or invisible disability, and some may not be so obvious. So I appreciate that sensitivity, because that is why we exist. We really are doing more than, as the mayor mentioned, what is ADA compliant. But really, it's a place for everyone. It's a place for the body we live in today and the one we're going to live in maybe in 30 or 40 years. And like you mentioned, we are changing. So we are very excited about the fact that the playground, not only are you playing with your children, your grandchildren, but many of our kindness ambassadors and volunteers are part of our older adult community, which brings them out into the community in a meaningful way. Related to structures, much of what we do is very custom. Many of the items we pull from different playground manufacturers that have to adhere to safety standards, of course. And then when you reference the structure that, for instance, Barbara Butler might create, or maybe it will be someone that's local in this community, we do work with unions, of course. We are rule followers, so whatever works for Daly City will work for us.
Okay, so to hear that you will work with unions, I think that's a very, very important aspect. Because here in Daly City, any sort of construction or development, I would like to see that the unions are involved with.
Yeah, they are in our other projects, yes,
as
absolutely.
you probably heard earlier, like at least LOI to be created. So
Yes, thank you for that.
that out there.
I appreciate it. Yes, and what we do work, I think all of our projects, we've worked with unions. They're very, a very strong presence in our community, and we celebrate them as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to tell you that a little bit of background is before the pandemic, someone that you know is Diana Reddy, when she was on the council in Redwood City.
Good city, yeah.
We took a tour because our friend, someone that's involved in these Golden Gate and all that, her name is Joyce Cabrera.
Oh, well, Joyce is a big
Exactly.
fan of the project.
So Joyce reached out to me before the pandemic, and we spoke with our then city manager, prior city manager, and Stephen Stolte, the assistant city manager, and we had contact with Diana and with Joyce, as you know. And Joyce was already forward thinking, because you know how she is, right?
Yes, I do.
She's our own Daly City, but
She's a magic maker.
Exactly, and her son is autistic. She doesn't mind me saying that, Sam. So, so we were trying to work on what she thought was like be thing, but she said, like you said, it's custom made. And Diana Reddy, as you know, cannot say enough good things. And that's why I knew there was a labor component and that you guys do involve the labor and that we were just trying to, then the pandemic came, right? But, and then Joyce said that she'll be in touch with you, which if she hasn't already, so that we can do that. And I'm sure that our city manager and our mayor didn't realize that this actually started prior to COVID. But, and Diana gave me the beautiful tour in Redwood City, and you know how she has that big heart, right? And she also is an advocate, and when you guys had the Redwood City, so.
Well, certainly appreciate that
feedback.
reference
Joyce
as well.
is great.
Certainly, Joyce will have a special place
she's
on
watching.
the. Yes, but also for those council members that may not know about our work, certainly to reach out across to other council members in other cities that have worked with us is a great way to get to know us in a very informal
Pandemic kind
way.
of slowed things up, and then there's been a change. So, but also we're happy that we're moving forward now, and we have a new city manager, and we're all together, which is great.
It's great.
Oh, yeah. So timing is everything. I believe in that.
Thank
and
you.
to have you here tonight is really quite an honor.
Thank you. Well, the honor is mine.
So it's so needed.
Whoops, this wonderful celebration that it was a wonderful surprise for me to be here.
And you don't
doing
never
that.
know. Even if you're temporary disabled, like maybe some of us have known people in our families, or we've had personal like auto accidents to put us in wheelchairs, or even if it's 4 or 5 years, you never know, right? And that you're able to get out there with the, like you said, the adults and participate and not feel that less than, right? That less than, so.
And certainly that's so true, and it's a sombering fact. It is the largest minority group in the United States, and one we can be a member of at any time, right? Little ski trip or this and that. But mainly, a magical bridge is fun for everyone.
Right.
And so that's what we really focus on, is it is an example of what our community is, and it does include different ages, different abilities, different ethnic groups, and it's a place we can come together, and probably one of those few places we come together no matter who we voted for, what our ethnic background, what is in our pocketbook, what kind of wallet we have, right? It is that one opportunity to meet people of our community and, learn the lessons of kindness.
And even if they can't verbalize the happiness, as you know, Joyce with her son,
Yes.
you can feel the happiness, right?
Well, the real founder of Magical Bridge is my daughter, Ava, who is 20 now, and she is nonverbal. And she is an example of 20 on the outside and probably 1 on the inside. And she's, Magical Bridge is a place she loves to come to, where people are kind and welcoming, regardless of her ability to say how nice it is to be there. So thank you for that. It's
I'm
true.
in full
It's across.
support. And
Thank
Joyce, I know
you.
you're watching, so I know she'll be in touch with you.
Yes,
Right?
I
She's
will
an
check.
angel, right?
Yes, she is.
She's an
Many
angel.
out there.
And thank you, Diana,
Thank you.
already. So thank you
And thank
for
you,
being
Diane.
here.
Thank you so much.
Exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Mayor.
Yes, so I thought the video was well done. I mean, it touched me, and it was, it made me realize that maybe I don't know enough, or I'm not as sensitive as I should be in realizing the value of a park like this. I haven't enjoyed a park, I don't know, in years. And watching your video, I mean, it's like I want to go to a park now. I mean, and it just, in a way, I'm almost ashamed we haven't done this earlier. And I want to thank the mayor for taking the idea and running with it and actually making it happen. And not just talk, but responding to his constituent who had the, fortitude to make a call and ask, hey, is it possible to have it in Daly City? And so I think this is a really good example of how government can really do some good for the people. And it's people like you, your daughter, and your whole group who I'm grateful for that you have come together with this idea, and it's making people happy. It's spreading kindness, and I can't wait till something like this comes up. When I guess my question is, when do you think from this moment on that you think this is going to happen in Daly City?
We can move very quickly. And I just want to acknowledge your wonderful city manager, Tom, of course, who came out with the mayor. And dare I put him in the spotlight, but Supervisor Canepa is very, very, very excited about it because he lives in Daly City. And I hope he doesn't mind my calling him out here, but I think if he were here, he would echo your enthusiasm. I mean, I don't want to make any promises, but we could have something at this time next year and have the next holiday celebration with cake close to the new magical bridge in Daly City at Hillside Park. So let's see how we can do on that one.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
all. Thank you.
Thank you, council member.
Well, thank you for coming out. I think when we have designs that are mindful of all aspects of everything, it just makes a whole park and opportunities much more special. So thank you for all the work that you do, and I'm also excited along with my colleagues to see this happen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. I mean, you have brought the magic to the council this evening. And thank you for that. And thank you for those of you that are watching, I mean, this was just something she wanted to do in her community with her daughter. And it has now grown because the model that you've created has made an impact to others. And if Gus, you're watching right now, for Mikey Jr., who loves your parks, I know that this is something that not only Mikey Jr. will really be able to flourish in, as he also, you know, has autism, but many others. Because if you haven't been to it, I actually was able to go to it with my children, but it is so welcoming. The place is really magical. You've seen the video. It's just something really special. And to have that in North County, northern part of San Mateo County, in an area that actually, I think Hillside Park is really great. It's probably not as utilized as we want. And so I am extremely ecstatic along, you know, with you answering the questions around hiring locally and how supporting kind of the local labor, which is really wonderful. I am ecstatic to move this item. So I'm really happy to move this item number 5, authorize city manager to execute an agreement with Magical Bridge Foundation for a magical bridge playground at Hillside Park. And do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, may I have roll call, please, Madam City Clerk?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Happily, aye.
Dr. Rod,
Yes.
Mr. Buenaventura,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye, certainly.
Thank you. And we promise to create a very magical new space here in Daly City. Can't wait to work with all of you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a magical holiday season.
Yeah. And now moving on to item number 6, the finding of public convenience and necessity PCN-11-23-16429 to sell alcoholic beverages for off-site consumption at Vera Market at 6189 Mission Street. And we have staff, Mr. Brian Paland and Director Tina Motherson.
Thank you, Mayor Manalo.
Oh, no, it's not. I looked
It's
up
fine.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait. Ooh, it's Michael Van Housen.
Yes.
So, okay. Well,
Yes. Thank you, Mayor
in
Manalo.
lieu of these two.
Yes. I'm subbing for Brian this
Okay.
evening. Yes, so this is a request by Vika Saxena for a public convenience and necessity finding by the City Council. Mr. Saxena is requesting that he be granted the PCN so that he can have a Type 21 license, which is beer, wine, and distilled spirits. The sale of that at 6189 Mission Street. ABC, the Department of Alcohol and Beverage Control, has informed the city that Mr. Saxena needs this from the City Council to proceed forward with his ABC license. The area that's occupied, we've outlined in the staff report. The area that would be occupied by alcoholic beverages is fairly insignificant. Mr. Saxena is proposing that and there's a floor plan of this, that he operate a grocery store there, but to provide a full variety of products, he does feel that he needs to have the alcohol license there. We've outlined again in the staff report the uses that are in close proximity that serve children, as we do in every PCN staff report, as well as the existing Type 21 licenses that exist in the census tract. There are two, so this is an overconcentration. This is actually not an area of high crime according to ABC. This PCN is required because of overconcentration. So normally in this census tract, there would be 2 licenses, and there are 5. And so that's the reason for the PCN. So with that, we normally don't give a recommendation of approval or denial on this, and we don't have that either on this one. We just lay out the facts for you, and if you have questions, Mr. Saxena is behind me. He's filled out a speaker card in case you'd like to ask him any questions. And with that, we'll just turn it over to you for any questions of staff or Mr. Saxena.
Thank you so much for that. At this point, do you have is there a presentation by the?
No, we don't have a prepared PowerPoint, and Mr. Saxena does not either.
Okay. So is there any questions from my colleagues at this point? Okay, Councilmember Sylvester, please. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll basically have a question. I need to look something up. If someone can put the password in this laptop so I can access the files, I'd appreciate it, and I'll have some questions later. It's asking for a password. Thank you. Thank you. I got it. Won't happen again. Thank you.
Do you are you?
Yes, I'm in now, Mayor. It's going to take me a minute. I'll gladly defer to anyone else who has a comment or question.
Go ahead, Councilmember Giovanni.
So Michael, just for clarification, when you said that in number 6 it says Department, I apologize. The Department of Alcoholic Beverages shows up to off-site, it has 5, right? Current licenses issued within the census tract, right?
Yes.
And then he's at Mission Street, let me see what's the address, closer to La Loma? Let me see that address.
He's at Mission and Crocker.
He's at Mission Crocker, right? So that's kind of close to La Loma?
It's like down the street.
Yep. Let's see. La Loma's at 6001 Mission.
And then it says, City Council may desire to deny the request that the public convenience or necessity would be served by the issuance of a Type 21 license to sell beer and wine. Could you explain that a little bit with this terminology, if you don't mind? The summary?
Sure.
Apologize.
So the summary provides the city council 2 options to either
Right.
approve or deny the finding of public convenience and necessity for the Type 21 license. It's actually beer, wine, and distilled spirits. Sometimes the applicants just do the beer and wine. I do believe Mr. Saxena does intend to sell beer, wine, and distilled spirits, although he might be able to answer that question for you.
Okay. Beer and wine, no hard liquor?
Everything, like beer and wine and all spirits, like beer and wine and hard liquor.
Oh,
That is the 21 license would allow that.
it gives you all of it.
Yeah, include all of that.
Okay. And then if you just did beer and wine, what is that one?
I don't know the license number off the top of
Okay.
my head, I'm sorry.
It will be some other number, ma'am.
Yes, it would be
Okay.
another number.
And our PD's not here, are they? I guess we haven't had much trouble in that area.
Well, it's, again, the purpose is not high crime, but the police department is aware
Right.
of this application and provided us the statistics and didn't express any sort of opposition to it.
Yeah, I was just thinking where the kids walk from the church. Okay. All right, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You ready?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I see the cross street is Crocker. Other cross street abutting that is Wilson Street.
That's correct,
You have
to the
the
north.
14 Mission line that goes up and down the street. There are no bus zones at Mission and Crocker. At least I don't see one indicated. I see a parking space at the northeast corner of Crocker. In other words, there's no bus zone there. And according to the police department, it doesn't appear to be a high crime area based upon statistics received. Is that correct?
The Department of Alcohol and Beverage Control has determined that it's not a high crime area
Okay, so.
based on city statistics that are
So
downloaded
ABC.
to them.
And
Yes,
ABC would be the one to grant the license if approved and subsequently enforce it as well for any violations.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I have a question for the applicant, if I may, sir. Can you give your name for the record, please?
My name is Vikas Saxena.
Okay. How long have you been in business there?
This is going to be my first store.
Your first store?
Yeah, so I'm very excited and about this store and very, very, to thinking about the store and trying to work hard for this, for the
Thank-
community, for myself, for everyone.
Thank you. Will you do, you have any other stores?
No, this is going to be my first store, so.
Oh, you did say first store.
Yeah, before coming to the, to the planning and zoning department, before signing
Right.
anything, I came to planning and zoning department to ask that, whether I'm allowed to be open or not on that time. And when everything has been checked at planning and zoning department, and they said that it's allowed to be grocery store and retail store, convenience store, and the liquor store as well. And then I went to the landlord and signed the lease, and then I applied for all the license. And then after applying everything and investing, then the PCN came across to me that you need the PCN from the city chamber, and I applied for the PCN now.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for coming to Daly City and the opportunity now that you have a store. We really depend on our businesses a lot. And I'd like to say thank you for even thinking about Daly City.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Mr. Longhausen, you had made mention that there's already 5 permits. Can you give me an example of the close proximity of the permits? Like, see, between Crocker and, say, for instance, Evergreen, which is a city block, how many are in that area?
Yes, so there's actually a map as an attachment D to the staff report, but I'll describe it for you. So the applicant's business would be in very close proximity to the southeast corner of Mission and Crocker. And then around the corner at Crocker and Irvington Street, there's another type 21
Crocker
license.
Market Liquors.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's maybe the closest one. And then down the street, up Mission Street to the east, are 2 more on the same block. There's one Felix Grocery Store at 6147 Mission, and then Morazan at 6157 Mission. They both hold type 21 licenses, according to ABC. So those are the ones that are in close proximity. And then further up the street, near the Templeton and Mission intersection, southwest corner, it looks like that's where La Loma is at 6001 Mission.
Thank you. So are these other locations off sale? In other words, you can't drink it on site.
No.
You have to, take it and go.
That's right. They're off sale.
Okay, how
They're
about the
all-
restaurants? Do they have any liquor license
There are several restaurants in the area that do allow on-site consumption.
on-site consumption? Okay. All right, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Benaventura.
So, thank you for, thinking about opening up a business in Daly City. I'm just curious, why did you choose to open a business here in Daly City?
The most important thing in my mind to open a small store for the local people, especially for the local people, especially, and to have some necessities items like for the grocery, for some flowers and all, for some medicines and all, and some groceries and everything. And in this, if I have the type 21 license, so people should not to go anywhere else. They find everything in the store. And anyhow, this is a small store, so and this area in the Daly city having opportunity to grow. So that's the most important thing I choose this.
Do you have any other businesses?
No, sir, I don't have any.
Okay. And who will be managing it?
I will be managing,
Just you?
just me.
Okay. And was it your intention in the beginning to sell liquor, or did that just come later?
From the day one.
Day one, you were going to try to sell liquor. Okay.
So all to come together, not
Yeah.
for the only for liquor, maybe some part of the liquor and some part of the grocery, some part of the flowers and other items as well. In the store we need it, so all come together in one store. And if anybody walks in, he find everything there, and not to go to some other place. And it will be opportunity for me as well to grow.
So you know that there are several businesses that sell liquor within close proximity to you. What makes you think that you can compete with them in selling the liquor?
It's not about the competing. I'm thinking I'm just more excited to be opening the store on that place. And before I was not knowing, I inquire everything whether I can open the store or not. So I come to know that I can open on that place, 1689 Mission Street. I can open the store, whether it is liquor store, grocery store, convenience store. So this is allowed that in this proximity. And after this, I applied for the business license, another license, and type 21 license. And then I come to know, they asked for the PCN from the city council. So then I requested for the PCN for my store, and here I am standing in front of you, sir, to request and to grant me this later.
Okay. And without getting into, your trade secrets or practices, how are you going to determine your prices compared to the other stores? Are you going to be competitive with them?
Yeah, it will be little bit less.
Okay.
Not I'm going to high the price for the local people, and like I want to build myself, and for the local community I want to serve it. So I don't want to raise the price. Maybe price will be lower. So I'll be earning less. It's no problem. Just I want to be make other people happy and to feel happy as well.
And so if I go to your store, what can I buy for in terms of food and making that one trip? What can I get? What is everything I can get?
Like canned foods and all, whatever the cans comes with, and all the the soft drinks and all the sodas and all, and some fruits and all, and whatever the items like in the daily necessities, like people come to use come for buy the paper rolls sometimes, some medicine and all, some Advil and all. Some people see that they didn't find anywhere, they come to the store and buy it. Some gums and all, and all the items come together in the store where people get it very easily, in the cheap price, or people get it whatever they need it.
Can you tell me about your security in the store?
Security means
Theft, surveillance?
yeah, there will be the cameras all the areas outside and inside, and there will be 4 or 5 camera. Anyhow, this is around 1200 square feet, or it's not a big place. So I'll put enough security to my in the store and outside of the store to watch it and see that who is walking and what they're doing and what is going on.
will it be manned by one person, two people at a time?
2 people.
2 people?
Yeah.
And, well, I guess maybe this question is for you, Mr. Van Lankhuizen. So, one of the things that I think we're all worried about is the idea of, blight in the community. Can you give me your assessment of what you think that area has developed into? It has, I don't know, maybe improvements? What is your opinion of the blight there?
Well, by the classic definition of blight, this area would not be considered blighted. There are a lot of vacant storefronts, but it's probably not over 25%. That being said, this storefront has been vacant for a while, and, filling it would be a good thing, of course, with a good use. But no, I would not describe this area as blighted in general. Just the vacancy rate is just not high enough to meet a classic definition of that, which is usually greater than 25% vacancy.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. And then the last time we approved a business there to sell liquor, do you know when that was?
At this location?
Yeah, that area, that you said there were 5. Do you remember?
Yeah, the last one, I do not know. It might have been Bart Grocery, which is over, if you're familiar with where that is. That might have been the last one, but I honestly do not know.
Okay. And do you know if the other businesses that do sell liquor, are they fully wine, beer, and the hard stuff, or what?
I do not know that either.
Okay.
And it's just important to keep in mind that even if they weren't, they could change their model to include liquor at any time because they all do have type 21 licenses.
Oh, they have to.
They have 21 licenses, so they can type 21 licenses, so they can begin selling hard out distilled spirits is what we call it at any time, even if they didn't. So.
Okay. And I guess my question to you about the hard liquor stuff, if you were to sell it, what sizes do you know of liquor are you going to be selling?
Like the small sizes also comes like the medium like 375 ml, 750, or some small one as well, 60 ml as well. So the sizes are different, and so accordingly we will sell, whatever the people need it.
And what are your hours going to be?
Average.
Your hours?
Your
What
will
your
be
business hours?
from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 12 hours.
Is that the hours?
Yeah, it is the way of practice in nearby, like everybody doing it that way, 9 to 9.
Is that the business hours for most of the businesses there?
What I have seen, sir.
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't honestly tell you the business hours of the other type 21 licenses.
Okay.
Yeah, we could probably find out fairly quickly.
No, I
if you'd
think,
like.
I think okay. Thank you. That's all my questions, sir. Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, I just have a real quick one. Okay, thank you. So on attachment C, Mr. Van Lankhuizen, where it says uses that attract or serve or youth,
Yes.
with a little map here,
Yes.
I think it's before the 21 license.
Yes, these are generally city parks. There's a private K through 6 or K through 8 school.
School, what school?
SOLPH, Our Lady of Perpetual Help. There's a private school in the area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a tot lot on the other side of Mission Street, north of John Daly Boulevard. There's War Memorial. This is the map, yes.
Oh, it's the same map that goes with the listing that's coincide, correct?
Yes, City Park, Lincoln Park.
Oh, okay. I got it.
These are the typical criteria that we reported to the city.
OLPH.
Yeah.
Yeah, the church. Right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mr.
I just have a comment. I live in that section of Daly City, okay? And I'm just gonna be honest. Our kids are products of a community of what it represents. When I go on that top of the hill, there's like stores upon stores that are vape stores.
Yeah.
There are liquor stores. We have Walgreens that sell alcohol. I'm reluctant to permit this because of the danger of the concentration of liquor stores and vape stores and all these different things, especially in that top of the hill area. And when we talk about questions of equity,
Yeah.
would this fly in other neighborhoods in Daly City,
Got you.
right? And so that's my general feeling. I don't know how to put it in a question, and I know that it's a dream of yours to have a full service grocery store, but when we have places that are like a food desert in Daly City that lack organic food, fresh food, but the only things that they could afford are, you know, candy, chips, drinks. I just feel that as a person that has two young ones and know a lot of students and youth that live around that area, we don't need another business that provides another type 21 or a type 20 liquor store or license. And that's just my comment. I don't know what question I'm asking. I'm just analyzing that area and looking at it in comparison to other communities. And it's just, for me, I feel like we are, and I'm torn because I know you put in the work and you have this dream to start a business, but for me, in a moral and ethical perspective, I just feel like it's the wrong thing to do.
Can I say something? That Walgreen does not have, sir, any liquor over there.
Okay.
So in the proximity, Walgreen doesn't sell it.
Yeah.
So I request you grant me this PCN.
Will your store be selling cigarettes, vaping as well?
Not smoking, maybe the pack of cigarette, but not the whole chain of smoking items.
Okay.
We don't sell it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for those comments from my colleagues. I mean, I think the question I have, and I'm not trying to be kind of into, I think what Councilmember Bonaventura asked about, like, some of your items and things like that. Like, for me, it's like, what is the percentage of the alcohol that you're gonna have in your business? Like, what's the percentage of it?
15 to 16%.
15 to 16%. And then you also called your business a grocery store. What is the percentage of groceries in the grocery store?
It will be around 60 to 65%.
Okay, are you going to have fresh produce? Is there going to, like, I think along with the vice mayor, it's important to have opportunities to have like healthy foods and, in a similar fashion, I think it's great that, you wanted to start this business, but the saturation that I look right now, and I think that's why it's coming to a permit because of the saturation of kind of liquor licenses in the area. I think for me, I need to know the information that Councilmember Ray Benaventura asked around when was the last time, like, and what's the other locations, what type of liquor do the other locations have in order to make a decision. Those types of information is, I think, useful in order to make a final decision on this. because it is located in an area, I know you're not selling vape or any other of those. You just mentioned that it's cigarettes, right? 'Cause it's just one of your items, but it is, and it's not to your fault, but there is other, I think, uses that are not, I think, youth friendly. So when we think about like alcohol, obviously, it's like if there's young people that are around the area. So that's just, I just want, number one, I need to understand that question of all the other licenses. What are they selling? What type of liquor? To understand what the saturation is of the other type 21 liquor licenses. And then I think you mentioned you can find that out shortly, or is it something that we need to kind of continue this item so we could get all the information we need?
What we could probably figure out tonight is the hours of operation. We can do a quick search on that.
Yeah.
I think getting to the essence of the question of which, what different types of alcohol and the volume in each of these other stores would probably require some sort of site visit.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, and just for me, I think that would be helpful to understand.
Yeah.
Because not related to this item, it's a different topic, but there is a lot of smoke shops that have just popped up in that area. And I know this is separate. Like we also did an ordinance on that. But I mean, in the same manner, I think, not in the same manner, but this is a different topic. It is the liquor license. That's why I think in order for me to make a decision, I need to have the information around what type of liquor is in the other institutions. Because now when I look at attachment D, I see the what do you know, the drop icons. There's like literally two right next to each other, and then one on Crocker. So that's not even on like another block. It's like literally on the same block between Crocker and Evergreen. So I think I just need that information. I think, and yeah, I need to have that information. So I don't know with my colleagues how they feel, but I would like to get further information in order to make a decision on this.
I'd be happy to make the motion to continue this item to another day, so you can get us that information.
January 8th.
Yeah, if you can get that information.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
We can get it.
And if I could just also mention to you, you might want to reconsider some of the suggestions that were made, like more healthy foods, fresh produce, maybe don't sell cigarettes. Just a thought, but when you come back before us, that might be well received. So that's my motion to continue.
Okay, I have a first and second. Just a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for your time. We'll see. Okay, now moving on to item number 7. This is the second reading, ordinance number 1469, adding chapter 17.58 to the Daly City Municipal Code regarding commercial mixed-use CMU district to rezone certain parcels on Mission Street and Geneva to commercial mixed use and amending the zoning map. We have Attorney Rose Zimmerman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. This came before the City Council by introduction at the last regularly scheduled meeting, and it is up for adoption of the ordinance for ordinance number 1469.
Thank you very much. I move to adopt the ordinance. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Mr. Buenaventura,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye. Thank you very much. Now moving on to appointments, board and commission membership committee appointments. Do I have any appointments or board committee appointments for my colleagues? Seeing that, I do have an appointment. I'd like to first and foremost appoint a longstanding community member who's done an outstanding job in the Arts and Culture Commission. I'd like to appoint, I think it has expired on the duration of our appointment, so I'd like to appoint Arlene Das Magbowal to the Arts and Culture Commission, just for a continuation.
Second.
Okay, I have a first, and then do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second.
Would I have to abstain? Or how would I?
Ask Madam City Attorney.
Or,
You don't have to abstain.
okay, gotcha.
Okay, so I'll just do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Now moving on as well, I'd like to appoint Cheryl Qatar to the Planning Commission.
Second.
I have a second, voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Now moving on to council committee. Do we have any council committees? I look to my colleagues. Seeing none, moving on to city council reports. I'd like to make a comment for the record on a city council report. First and foremost, as earlier today, I wanted to thank my parents and my husband for really being there for me and my work in public service. I could not do it without them. And I wanted to acknowledge them. I know it was earlier today and things were moving. But I wanted to say thank you to my husband and my parents for when I am at meetings, when I am at events, people always ask, well, like, how do you do that? Well, it's really because of family support. And so I do this public service because I care deeply about the community, but I could not do it without my family. And so I wanted to acknowledge them. And so if they're watching or not, sometimes my kids watch and like, Mama on TV, but I just wanted to be able to acknowledge that. And then I also wanted to reiterate that my commitment and priority to housing, affordable housing, and pushing and making sure that we continue. We've always been a community that looks towards building more affordable housing, having accessibility to that, and that continues. It's something that I've had a passion for ever since, I worked at the Bill Sora Housing Program in San Francisco, helping individuals apply to these programs, whether it's below market rate programs, affordable housing programs. But here in Daly City, when we have an opportunity to build affordable housing, like what we're looking at towards the Cow Palace area, looking at that city land and hopefully getting that developed is so important. Because we know and we see how important it is for our people that grew up here to remain here and not have to drive so far away. And that's a commitment of mine. And as I mentioned, I also, am committed to ensure that Seton Hospital follows through with what they promised through the community. It was a battle to keep Seton Hospital to remain in our community, and we will continue to fight for it to remain in our community, but also ensure that the workers that have been there for decades are upheld, respected, because they are the caregivers to our community when in most need. I mean, we had one of the commissioners speak today about how vital Seton Hospital it is to his life, because he was in a dire situation. And so I stand with NUHW, I stand with CNA, and with the community, because we know how long this institution has been here, but what needs to happen is there needs to be respect to the workers who have been there for decades. And also just the commitment to ensuring that, we have enhancement to our neighborhood parks. And we saw that very clearly through the pandemic. And we're out of it now. We get to be in community with one another. But that's where intergenerationally we see community come together. I'll say a testament to it was Gellert Park and how heavily it's used. I want to thank the staff. And those improvements, how we see Lincoln Park. When I was driving there the other day, I was like blown away by how activated it was because of the basketball courts, the playground that's been there. But it was pretty robust. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's just a full-on park filled with vitality. But this is a continuity to the commitment towards really having better and improved spaces in our communities. And now with Magical Bridge on the horizon, it's really exciting. I mean, when I used to go to Hillside Park, now I'm gonna date myself back. In high school, I mean, there was nothing there. We just hang out and there was like grass. And I mean, there's just a large piece of grass. And I mean, there's just so much more we can do with that piece of land. And I know that the neighborhood around there will also be able to partake and have something right in their backyard. So that's extremely exciting. And so I do have a list of events as usual, but I know we've had a long evening. I won't belabor that. I will report back in the next following meeting about those amazing community events that I am gladly to attend. And so I see Councilmember DiGiovanni. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I'll defer to make it shorter. I think at the last council meeting, I think that all of us are probably, not speaking for my council, that we may want to consider something that was mentioned the last time. And it's an ordinance that we're doing an ordinance together that would actually include the language of what the LOI actually is intended. And if we actually did the ordinance, then each time a development would come to us, then they would know what to expect from the city. And I think that most of our council, or all of our council in the city, are pro-union and pro-labor and pro-worker, making them safety, making sure they have medical on the site, making sure there's not any of those wage thefts, and paid fairly. So I know the language had gone to Tatum a while back with Juan, and I believe the NorCal Carpenters a while ago, or Michael, maybe it went to Michael from Juan, the gentleman that was here, was gone to Michael. So we can maybe look at that, and if I have support from anyone on the council, or they can send it to the mayor, and see if there's any support on the council to consider bringing forth an ordinance, so that we don't have to go through this every time, and that when there are developments, then they know what to expect from this city, and that how fair we make sure that these workers are in local hire. And then secondly, when Councilmember Dr. Rod had mentioned the vaping, as well as the mayor and the Councilmember Bonaventura and Councilmember Sylvester, my council, that we may want to consider and look at the land use again, because at one time when there was a big pay loan years and years ago, they actually used the land use to try to prevent any more from. That's a way we can prevent more. We can prevent more vaping shops. We can prevent more only cigarette stores, or only things that we finally, to guide this council, together, that we can make sure that we start looking at it in a healthy way, as Dr. Rod had alluded to with our youth and our mayor, that the concern that we have for making things in a healthy way, which I do know that people want to come and we welcome the businesses, but maybe they can rethink as well. And as Mr. Bonaventura alluded to, rethink, like the fruits, because there's a different move now for our youth. There's a different move now in our city to where, yes, we see the vaping, we see all that, but actually the youth, and he's a professor at a community college, and not trying to put pressure on you, but no, the youth that he sees and the impacts that can happen to the youth, I know that it's something that it's all of our concern. So we couldn't use land use in that manner to guide that. And with that, I'll hold off for everything else and thank the mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Along those same lines, I think I have reached out to Director Piccolotti and in regards to the smoke shops that have now been up and down Mission Street. It's been something that is on, I think, his agenda to look into. And
Land use.
because when there were a lot of smoke shops that were coming up and down Mission Street, I recall very clearly we put an ordinance and looked at land use policy to see where it was saturated. So it's not like we're something new. I think it may be an enforcement piece or looking at exactly what happened. Is there a misalignment with implementation? Is there some oversight that needs to occur? Because this was brought up, I think, in 2022.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was in 2022. And so, yeah, I think
Another
we care
review.
deeply about our community, about making sure that, our youth, young people, older adults, I mean, we don't need to have a saturation of this. This kind of reminds me of like how, like when one store opens up, another one, and then now it becomes kind of a haven. And so I appreciate those questions from you, Councilmember Benaventura, as well as you, Dr. Das Magwal, in regards to kind of ensuring that these type of uses, are they congruent to our community needs, especially, and that's why we needed more data. I think we're all on the same page around making sure we have healthy neighborhoods, healthy initiatives. And so I have no doubt that you've already been working on it, City Manager Piccoletti, and so I appreciate that. Look forward to an update in that regard. So, and now, seeing no other city council reports, I would love to hand it over to see if you have any items, City Manager
Well, I
Piccoletti.
don't have any items through the chair, but I will say that we are looking at the ordinance that went into effect and how some of the other stores that were approved within that time period. So we're looking at it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your hard work. I look forward to hearing the update. And now we will move into adjournment. And so Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you, Mayor. It is sad news that the sudden passing of Feli, better known as Mona Lisa Gutaman. Actually, she was dancing 30 minutes prior in San Mateo ballroom dancing. And she's relatively young. And next thing we knew, someone was doing a video of her, and then she had collapsed. And they could never revive her. She actually is supposed to be at an event that I was invited to coming up as being centered as in her culture as a coronation. And so there'll be respect for her in that manner, but it was a big shock. And I believe the other two are a close in memory. to her heartfelt condolences to her family, those that were present and who tried to help her, and may she rest in peace. And I believe the other two is the mayor's.
I have one.
Councilmember Benaventura, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to ask that we also adjourn in memory of Joelle Yvonne Allen. Ms. Allen is the mother of Kevin Allen. Kevin Allen has been a longtime community activist here in Daly City and actually throughout the county. So thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Benaventura. I'd like to also adjourn in memory of Ike Elliott, former Daly City Recreation employee. Also Pete P.L. Domingo, also former Daly City Recreation employee. May we all have a moment of silence.
All right, thank you.